Today we will take a look at the best all-in-one PCs. If you want to find more information, check out links down below. 5. HP Envy Curved All-in-One. The latest HP Envy 34 Curved All-in-One desktop PC mates an outstanding 34-inch widescreen display with impressive processing power. It's a terrific combination for hardcore multitasking, gaming, or simply kicking back and watching the latest blockbusters. The HP Envy Curved 34A051 Signature Edition All-in-One at Amazon. This iteration is built around its 34-inch curved screen. But as it did with the more recent Envy All-in-One 27B010, HP has put the CPU, the motherboard, the storage, and the discrete graphics processor into the base rather than behind the screen to give the PC a slimmer, sleeker look. And the faster Intel 7th Gen Core processor, a larger solid-state boot drive, AMD Radeon RX graphics, and 16 GB of memory give a nice boost to performance. As a result of these improvements, we have no qualms naming the Envy Curved All-in-One our editor's choice for high-end all-in-one desktop PCs. The front of the base is a speaker bar with 4 35mm audio drivers and 2 passive radiators firing stereo sound at you. The speakers are tuned and branded by Bang & Olufsen, and can fill a medium to large size room with music or sound from streaming videos, though without the really deep bass notes. The speakers sound much better and play louder than on most all-in-one PCs, save the latest iteration of the XPS 27, which takes a similar approach to audio quality and quantity. The Dell has more forceful sound levels, so it might be a better choice for a dorm room. Like the 27-inch Envy All-in-One, the Envy Curved has a ring-shaped touch-sensitive volume control located on the right side of the base. The keyboard feels a lot more luxurious than the simple plastic one that came with last year's HP Envy Curved. It's full size, but like the Apple iMac keyboard, it has a short Z height and is rechargeable. The included wireless mouse is a little oddly shaped, with its body resembling a small bar of soap and a palm rest hanging over the bottom to help it better fit in your hand, but it matches the overall look. Connectivity options are excellent, including a headset jack, an SD card reader, and a USB-C port with Thunderbolt 3 on the right side. That trumps the iMac, which lacks USB-C Thunderbolt 3 and has its SD card slot inconveniently placed in the back. On the HP's back panel, you'll find the jack for the AC adapter, an Ethernet port, an HDMI in port, an HDMI out port, a button for switching the HDMI source, 4 USB 3.0 ports, and the power button. Wireless connections are handled by way of 802.11 AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.2. The desktop comes with 16 GB of RAM, which is certainly enough memory for most games, playing multiple video streams, and multitasking. The combination of a 256 GB solid-state drive (SSD) for programs and a 1 TB SATA hard drive for storing files strikes a good balance between speed and capacity. The Envy Curved All-in-One comes with a 1-year warranty. 4. Dell XPS 27i. Although it's ludicrously more expensive than its nearest competitor, the Dell XPS 27 offers crisp-sounding speakers, lush Ultra HD display and, for the most part, a stellar design. Since 2012, the standard has shifted for desktop computers. With Microsoft's advent of the Surface Studio, there is now the expectation for PC makers to think outside of the box and implement forward-thinking AIOs engineered for versatility, 4K monitors and outstanding speakers, while also catering to designers and gamers. The 2017 Dell XPS 27, what with its lumbering 27-inch Ultra HD display, 6th-generation Intel Core i7 processor and discrete AMD Radeon GPU, aims to be your next all-in-one computing solution. Confidently endowed with 6 front-facing speakers and a weighty, albeit subtle design, let's take a look at whether the Dell XPS 27 offers enough value to justify its lofty price tag. There's no denying that the Dell XPS 27 is a looker. Even the rear of the machine glimmers with a silvery metallic finish and the rounded adornment of Dell's own logo. Although there is no fancy backlighting in sight on the back of the machine, the ostensible minimalism is honestly for the best. It exhibits the subtlety and sophistication that the company is known for, and a quality we've admired with other machines like the Dell XPS Tower. Turn around to the front, however, and you'll notice a full soundbar firing directly at you. Among these are 2 tweeters devised with high notes and vocals in mind, 4 full-range drivers for punchy mid-range sounds and 2 passive radiators for the bass. Because it wrestles with the idea of discrete graphics, onloading an AMD Radeon R9 M470X, the Dell XPS 27 performed fairly well in our graphics-based benchmarks. The XPS 27 is a far cry from a gaming PC. Even so, it'll be able to handle most of the games you want to play at somewhere along the lines of medium to high settings. This is a machine that's clearly geared towards more general forms of entertainment as well as creatively driven assignments. 3. iMac Pro. The iMac Pro, more than any other computer on this list, is aimed squarely at professionals, and it has the hardware to back it up. Packed with up to an 18-core Intel Xeon processor and up to 128 GB of RAM, there isn't a single thing you could throw at the iMac Pro to slow it down. And, while it is, without a doubt, outrageously expensive, it doesn't really matter. If you're the type of person that needs this level of power, you know who you are, then the price is absolutely justified. The iMac Pro is a powerful, professional all-in-one that may only be for a very particular clientele. It offers a lot of raw power and a premium price tag to match. If the iMac Pro is ideal for your needs, then you'll get a lot of mileage out of this computer. In spite of the iMac Pro looking like your classic iMac, its internal components are targeted purposely at professionals, with its workstation-level hardware that can absolutely take on a lot more than most people need for their day-to-day workload without any issue. 2. Surface Studio 2. The Surface Studio 2 doesn't just feature the same gorgeous display and unique functionality, but it also ups the power significantly, making it a much more future-proof device. It's still extraordinarily expensive, but if your use case is right for the Surface Studio 2, then it's hard to think of a better all-in-one PC. With all that great power comes a great price to match. But, if you're a professional photographer, game designer or architect, then the iMac Pro is undeniably a solid purchase. With the sheer power behind the iMac Pro, particularly next to the regular iMac, Apple has really outdone itself, all the while maintaining the design of the all-in-one machine. All those powerful internal components are tucked away behind the 27-inch display, resulting in a sleek, stark machine that looks attractive in any office or studio. Still the most robust digital drafting table around, Surface Studio 2 wasn't meant to compare well against most computers. For the digital artist or other visually focused content creators, Surface Studio 2 will be the one to beat, dated parts and all. If you're new to Microsoft's Surface world, you should make sure it's the right device for you before breaking open the piggy bank for this good-looking digital work table for artists. This PC will benefit digital media artists more than it'll benefit everyone else, so if you're not one, you're better off looking elsewhere. Absolutely nothing has changed in the Surface Studio 2's physical design over the original. This may be either a disappointment or music to your ears, depending on your perspective. Even the included wireless peripherals haven't really changed since the first Surface Studio was released. The improvements to brightness and contrast don't exactly blow our mind, personally, but we're sure they can make content more visible and workable for creatives. The increased brightness can bring out enhanced detail, while the boosted contrast will drive deeper blacks and lighter whites, and in turn offer more color depth. Beyond these points, and USB-C in lieu of a DisplayPort, there are no major design upgrades. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, as the Surface Studio Gravity Hinge doesn't need any improvements. The Surface Studio 2 comes with zero pre-installed software from third parties, coming directly from Microsoft. This is certainly part of the appeal of the Surface Studio 2, with so many other devices filling the operating system with software that's both non-essential and unwanted. That does leave the Surface Studio 2 with little to speak for in terms of unique software and features. 1. iMac 27-inch, 2020. The Apple iMac 27-inch 2020 offers some big improvements, specs-wise, compared to its predecessor, and looks set to be Apple's best all-in-one yet. The upgrades to the webcam and microphones are especially welcome for anyone working from home. However, Apple has stuck with the same design as previous models, and it's about time we saw a new look. The iMac 27-inch 2020 is Apple's latest entry in its iconic lineup of all-in-ones, bringing a number of impressive upgrades that will particularly appeal to people working from home. We'd been expecting a new iMac in 2020, and Apple has delivered, especially when it comes to offering a boost in specifications, with the new all-in-one now coming with the latest 10th generation Intel Comet Lake processors, speedy solid-state drives, SSDs, across the board, powerful AMD Radeon Pro graphics cards and bags of RAM. For home workers, there's also a new 1080p FaceTime HD webcam and studio-quality microphones, which make a big improvement to video calls, which are now an essential part of home working. Those two new features certainly got a workout during our time with the iMac 27-inch 2020, as we had multiple video meetings, and the results were very positive. The design of the new iMac 27-inch remains pretty much unchanged from previous models, except that with the move to SSD storage, the device is slightly lighter. The only other noticeable difference in the design is that the Retina 5K display now comes with nano texture glass, but that's an optional extra. Apple sent us one of the most powerful configurations. The iMac 27-inch 2020 comes in, with a nano texture screen, a 3.6H Z10 core 10th generation Intel Core i9 processor, 32GB RAM, an AMD Radeon Pro 5700XT GPU with 16GB of GDDR6 memory and 1TB of SSD storage. The newer Macs also come with the Apple T2 security chip, which offers on-the-fly data encryption, and ensures that any software loaded during the boot process hasn't been tampered with. There's also a new studio-quality microphone array which, in conjunction with the FaceTime HD webcam, will make sure you're seen and heard in crystal clear quality in meetings and video calls. While the physical speakers of the iMac 27-inch 2020 haven't changed, the T2 security chip will handle variable EQ to improve sound quality, including deeper bass. All these upgrades will be especially appealing to people working from home and who are after a new all-in-one.